A very good afternoon to one and all. Before beginning the presentation, I would like to thanks and congratulate Department of Botany, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule Commerce Science, and Vithalrao Raut Arts College Bhatkuli, and the team for organizing the one-day awareness program on the occasion of World Population Day. I would also like to mention the team which includes Dr. G.S. Shende sir, co-coordinator of the program, Dr. Vivek Narkhedkar sir, program coordinator, respected Dr. S.P. Kalmende madam, head Department of Botany, and respected K.S. Jamdhede sir, principal of the college. I, Dr. Ankit Subhash Rao Kade, Assistant Professor of Sri Shivaji Science College, Sri Shivaji Science Arts and Science College, Chikhli District, Buldhana. I am here for the presentation on the topic entitled World Population, Food Safety, and Role of the Plant Scientist. So, in the beginning part, I would like to show that what should be the role of current plant scientist. So you can see the multiple technological images, digital images are here, and the role of the current plant scientist is to use such tools and for the better development of the future with respect to the production of food material and its quality. So in the first part of the presentation, uh, in this slide, there are two images. One images says that there are huge number of population in a small land, and the another image says that there are huge amount of food in the land. In the second slide, it also shows two different images where in one image there is a single hand with huge amount of food, whereas in the another image you can see there are multiple hands with a limited amount of food material. So this both the images suggest that we have to use such tools, such methods for getting the hand with full with foods and all the population satisfied with the food demand. So breeding and food security. So as we know that we have limited land but huge population, and this limited land should satisfy the food demand of the population. Not only satisfy the demand, but also it should provide a sufficient a proper nutrition also. As we know that there are several kind of environmental factors including biotic and abiotic factors which are also affecting the crop production, which includes effect of weeds, effect of pest, microbes, and environmental abiotic factor like temperature, pressure, salinity, etc. So all these factors are affecting our food demand, our food production, which is directly affecting the population food demand ratio. So here we are with the plant breeding method, plant breeding technology. So before beginning before explaining the different methods, I would like to explain basic facts about the plant breeding. The definition says that the plant breeding is basically it is a purposeful manipulation of the plant species in order to create a new genotype and phenotype. It means we are going to change the genetics of the particular plant purposefully to get the new characters, new better characters, which will definitely increase the food demand, food production. Another definition is there. Basically, plant breeding is art of science of the genetic improvement of the plant. The same words are there also. So for this manipulation, what we have to do? We have to control the pollination. Sorry, we have to control the pollination using the different genetic tools, or you can use both together, as well as you have to select the correct progeny. Please look at this point that you have to select the correct progeny. Just a second. This artificial selection means suppose you have 10 progenies and you have one better one then you have to select that better progeny, which is strong, which is highly capable for the production of food, which is highly tolerant for the harsh condition, etc. So there are several national and international agencies which are working in this direction for the food security and development of the new methods for the crop production in the suitable environment. So why we need this plant breeding? We need plant breeding for different purposes, which includes quality, improve the quality with respect to nutrition, flavor, and the beauty as well. As well as we have to increase the production yield. As well as we have to create such crops, food crops, which can tolerate the environmental pressure with respect to salinity, temperature, drought, etc. Also, we have to develop such varieties which are resistant to microbes, different microbes, pest, herbicides, and the variety we are developing should be able to store for longer period. If such kind of variety we develop, then only we can say yes, in future we can satisfy the food demand. So this plant breeding is not a new one. It is continue from since last 9000 BCs. In the at 9000 BC back, the first domestication of plant was seen in 1694. The Camerotheus demonstrate the monoecious sex in monoecious plant. In 1714, the natural cross in maize was seen first time. In 1761 approx, the hybrid offspring demonstration was done. In 1866, Mendel experiment of hybridization were performed. In 1900, mental laws were rediscovered. In 1944, Avery McLeod McCarthy discovered DNA as a hereditary material. In 1970s, Borlaug received Nobel for the Green Revolution. In 1994, flavors sour tomato were developed. In 1995, approx, the BT corn were developed. So there are several other discoveries are also there, but these are one of the major discoveries for in the field of the plant breeding science. So there are different methods of plant breeding. So in the present presentation, I had divided these plant breeding methods in different time. So plant breeding before World War II and after World War II, modern plant breeding methods, and participatory plant breeding methods. So breeding before World War II includes random breeding, non-random breeding, heterosis, statistical method, cytoplasmic, male sterility. So we'll go one by one with the methods in short. So first is the random plant breeding. So in this method, what we do, we just select the phenotypic special phenotypic character which was developed from the parental plant with respect to a specific feature in the plant. Suppose we are looking to the mustard plant, wild mustard plant, which developed into different type of cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbages, kale, kohlrabi, etc. with respect to a particular character. Means what actually happened? This wild mustard plant got some natural variations, and this variation were artificially selected with respect to a particular character. And now we know this artificially selected plants as kale, cauliflower, kohlrabi, turnip, cabbage, and broccoli, etc. The next method is non-random plant breeding, in which we perform the artificial cross, and finally selection. So in the first step of this, we collect the various different type of plant varieties which we have to use for the particular artificial cross purpose. So these collected variables were finally selected with respect to their homozygous nature, means whatever parent we are taking, male or female, it should be homozygous. In the next part, we perform the artificial cross using two different methods known as emasculation, that is removal of anther, and bagging, that is package, and that is covering of the emasculated flower with the butter paper, etc. After the artificial cross, the hybrid creates, and this hybrid gets selected on the basis of their specific character, specific nature, that it is better than the parent one. And this specific and this selected variety hybrid sent for the testing to the experts of the different national or international institute of that, either it is superior or not. And if the variety finally get finalized that yes, it is superior, it is better than the parent, then it is released for the commercialization purpose in the market. So it is very long process. So it should be mentioned that here is again a selection process. Selection is basically nothing but the isolation or the separate the particular superior variety which is better than the parent. That is nothing but selection. So next is basically the next method is basically heterosis. So heterosis may be defined as it is basically superiority of the F1 hybrid. So whatever parent you are using, it doesn't matter, but they produces the particular F1 hybrid, and this F1 hybrid is superior. You can see in this image, if this F1 hybrid is superior, then the condition is basically heterosis. You can see both the parents are not that much superior as compared to the F1 hybrid. So in the heterosis or the hybrid vigor describes the superior performance of the heterozygous. So you can see the hybrid is basically superior here, that is heterosis. The next method is statistical method. So statistical method statistical method may be used to a group genotypes based on phenotypic data, make accurate predictions about the future performance of the breeding material, estimate relationship from observational data, and test hypothesis from the desired experiment. Means you are producing thousands and thousands, you are doing thousands and thousands experiments, you are getting different results, and after prediction or after predicting all this data, all the huge data with respect to phenotype, sequence, pedigree data, you finally use this statistics method, and finally you predict that yes, if we perform such method, we will get the better hybrid material which will be superior than the parent. So this is basically a statistical method which is very tedious one. The next method is cytoplasmic male sterility. So you can see that in case of cytoplasmic male sterility method, it is basically a condition where male is unable to produce the functional pollen. Okay. So in this method you can in this method you can see the male pollen is basically sterile one, whereas the female egg is active one. So this method is generally performed and seen in the bisexual plants, or which can perform this self-pollination like maize, rice, cotton, and other vegetable crops. So male plant produce no functional pollen but having viable eggs. Thus the cytoplasmic male sterility is used in agriculture to produce the hybrid seeds. This hybrid seed is produced from a cross between two genetically different lines. Such seeds usually result in larger and more vigor plants. So in the next part, that is breeding after World War II, also includes some very many different methods, including plant tissue culture uh, with respect to somaclonal variations, somatic hybridization, interspecies and intergeneric breeding, which is also related with this somatic hybridization, change in ploidy level, embryo rescue, and mutation breeding. So we will go one by one. So the first method is plant tissue culture, that is somaclonal variation. So you can see in plant tissue culture, if you use callus and you go with the orthogenesis method, this method in this method, if you generate multiple plants by the same callus, so due to so during the experiment and using different type of chemicals in the plant tissue culture, after hardening, it is seen that there are some plants which are different from the existing plant, which are different from the other plants. You can see there are some similar plants, but there is one different plant, and this different plant is nothing but your somaclonal variant. So suppose your this somaclonal variant plant is found to be better or superior as compared to the rest of the plant. You will select this one and use for the further purposes. So for in molecular biology, there are various PCR based methods which use SSR and ISSR markers to check this somaclonal variation, either they are present in the plant or not. So the next method is somatic hybridization. So basically, this method is also known as a protoplast fusion. The first word the use here is protoplast. So what is protoplast? So cell without cell wall is called as protoplast. So this protoplast of two different species got isolated from the leaf and cultured. This fused and this protoplast got fused. After fusion, this the hybrid creates, thus we can say them somatic cell hybrids, and this hybrid having the genetic material of two different species. These species may be inter or inter-specific species, and this hybrid where culture get culture can be cultured in the petri plates, and further they can be transferred to the soil for the hardening purpose. So you can see there is fusion of two different characters and creation of the new variety. And suppose the variety created is superior, it will be selected and used for the further purposes. The next method is interspecies and intergeneric breeding, that is breeding between two different genera or two different species. In the example, you can see I am showing the example of two animals where horse and donkey belongs to two different species, which create mule, which is again a superior one in the hilly region. Thus, in such manner, you can see that we can generate the better variety after the fusion or creating a hybrid of two different species or two different genera. The next one is mutation breeding. So you can see in mutation breeding, you can change the DNA in the DNA of the particular species or variety, and after the changing in DNA, and definitely the plant, some plant character will be changed. And suppose the characters created are superior than the parent one, then these characters will be selected in the respective plant and be grown, and they can grow separately in the different area as a new variety. You can say that is, it will be new variety one. So what is mutation purpose? Different mutants are available, which may be chemical mutagens, that may be physical mutagens like radiations, like gamma rays. Gamma rays is very popular nowadays. The next method is embryo rescue, very nice one. So what happens when you create or when you create an hybrid and the new seed arises, and suppose these seeds arises are not able to grow easily. In that condition, what we can do, we can isolate the particular embryo and grow separately in the culture medium, and after the growing of this embryo, you can collect the plant and hardening it. So what you did, you rescue the embryo, and the method is called as embryo rescue. The next method is change in ploidy, that is chromosomal, you can say it is chromosomal engineering. So change in ploidy means the chromosome present, suppose they were 2n, and now after polyploidy they become 4n. So there are change in the number of sets of the chromosome, that is change in the ploidy. So this change in the ploidy again comes under the mutation, and one of the very well known the very well known chemical agent which is responsible for change in the change in the ploidy level, and that causes polyploidy in the plant, that is colchicine, a very well known agent, colchicine. So this polyploidy may create new characters, and after creation of these new characters, the variety prepared, the hybrid prepared, may be definitely superior than the parent, and if it is superior, it will be selected. Next, in the next method part, that is modern plant breeding, it includes marker assisted selection, and another one is genetic modification. So in the first method, that is marker assisted selection, what we actually do first in first part, that is first we identify the molecular markers which is linked to a respected trait of interest. We'll cross it, and when we get F1 hybrid, we'll will perform selfing, and we'll get number of different plants, different. Okay, so what is our next role? We have to take sample of each plant, and that is your F2 actually. This is your F2 population. The DNA will be extracted of each plant, then their polymorphism can will be seen using the different primers, and using the PCR method, and with respect to our molecular markers, the respected variety will be selected, which is of our interest. In the next part, that is genetic modification, it is actual very important one, which is actually in the trend, and you all have listened and read about the example called BT cotton, BT brinjal. So these are the basically well-known varieties which have already developed. Not only two, there are hundreds of varieties which are developed by using this genetic modification. What we do actually in this genetic modification, first we isolate the TI plasmid of the particular bacteria. We use a DNA, foreign DNA material, which and we prepare a recombinant material. We transfer it into the particular bacteria for the infection to the respective plants, and when this plant get infected, the plant gets certain characters, and the gene of interest, the respective gene of interest, is transferred to the plant with the help of this natural genetic engineer known as agrobacterium. And as this plant grows, the new character of interest which you have which you have inserted in the respective plant will be appear in the plant, and maybe this plant will give the particular tolerance or the immunity to the plant with respect to the particular abiotic or abiotic factor. So in case of BT brinjal and BT cotton, the particular tolerance or resistance is provided against the insect larva. So the next part is next method is the participatory plant breeding, and it is again one of the very new and concerning method that it should in this method what actually we are focusing on, that there should be a participatory approach to the crop improvement with the help of the farmers. Means farmers should also participate. You can in the image you can see there are several farmers which are taking interest in the plant breeding method. So these farmers are actually scientists. These farmers are working with a particular crop since hundreds and thousands of years, and they are you will not believe, they are well aware about the changes pattern in the particular variety or particular crop. So their collaboration with the plant scientists will definitely boost the plant breeding process, and which will also help in satisfying our food demand. So after the particular breeding purpose, there are several issues arises. There are several concerns are there. So first concern is that after the breeding purpose, the nutritional value decreases. The first issue is this. It is also seen in several plant varieties that after the breeding, some nutritional level got decreased. So it is one of the issue. Again, there is a debate that this genetically modified food is safe or not for eating purpose, and due to where the media coverage and risk perception, this issue is again risen, especially in case of BT brinjal. You have this one. The next issue is that there is certain kind of ecological impact due to this genetically modified plants, including the change in decrease in biodiversity as well. Again, one important issue is plant breeder right, that if they are developing new crops, then what is the right on the particular variety of the breeder. So here there is a end of my presentation, and again I would like to thank to all the respective the coordinators and the department of the college. At the end, I would like to say a few words that food safety is a really big issue nowadays, and we should look in the concern that all the in like in the second image that I have shown already, that every child should get a proper amount of food what is the right of the particular child. Okay, thank you.